All right, guys, I'm going to show you how to fill in these diagrams. Um, First thing you're going to have to do is you're going to have to click on the picture just so it's selected, and then this button here in the very bottom left-hand side will pop up with an edit button. Click on that edit button, and then you have all these tools to color in these diagrams. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to add on my diagram, I am going to add an arrow for the moon's orbit around Earth. So I'm going to show the direction the moon orbits around Earth. So I'm going to come up here to my line tool. I'm going to click on that little arrow next to it. I'm going to select the scribble tool, and I'm going to draw my arrow. Remember, the moon orbits around Earth in a counterclockwise direction. So a clock would go this way, but counterclockwise is against the clock. So that is the direction I draw my arrow in. Okay? All right, so now that I've got my arrow, I'm going to make sure I've still got my scribble tool again. Oops. Make sure I have my scribble tool, and I'm going to go ahead and color in one of these moons. Okay? I am shading in the part of the moon that is going to be dark, and I'm leaving the part that is bright. I'm leaving that white, so I remember that it's lit up in the night sky. And I'm going to come up here to this little tool, and I'm going to make the line just a little bit thicker so I can see it better. All right, so I've got one moon filled in, and since this is the diagram that's showing the moons from above, they are all going to look the same. So to make my life a little bit easier, I'm going to copy and paste that. All right, so I'm going to come up here to the select tool, and I will be able to copy that picture, and then I'm going to right click again and then paste it, and I can just put it where I need it to be. And I can keep doing that for each moon phase. And now that only works on this diagram. It only works on the diagram that shows the moon phases from above. It will not work if you're doing the moon phases that we see from Earth, because those are going to look a lot different. Okay, so that's your first diagram. And make sure once you've drawn on your diagram and put all the stuff on it, you click on this blue button up here in the top right. You want to save those changes to that picture. And then it pops up just like that on the Google Doc. Okay, so I'm going to show you the next one. This is the diagram that shows us the moon phases from Earth. All right, so same thing. I'm going to click on the picture, and then I'm going to click this edit button down here in the bottom right, and I'm going to use my tools to label this diagram. All right, so I'm going to come up here again. The first thing I'm going to do is use this line tool. I'm going to choose scribble, and I'm going to add my arrow for the moon's orbit around Earth. All right, that's the first thing I need to do. Then I'm going to use my notes and use those video lessons that I gave you, and I'm going to color in each moon phase exactly the way it looks from Earth using that scribble tool. So I'm going to make sure I have my scribble tool, and then I'm going to start coloring in the moon phases. I know this is my new moon, so I'm going to color that in. It doesn't have to be perfect. I know that that's not going to be very easy to do on this diagram, especially on your Chromebook. But I want you to make sure that you know what part is dark and what part is bright. All right. So again, I'm going to come up here and I'm going to make that line just a little bit thicker so I can see it better. Oh, I need to do the other line too. All right. Now that I have made that line a little bit thicker, it's easier to see it. That is my new moon phase, so the whole thing is dark. All right. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to name that moon phase. So I'm going to have to go up there to that text box tool. So that tool right there is my text box tool. I'm going to drag and create my text box, and I'm going to name the moon phase. Okay, so that's my new moon phase. And then my next moon phase is my waxing crescent. So I'm going to come back up here. I'm going to get my scribble tool again, and I'm going to make my waxing crescent moon phase. Right, so there's a little bit of light on the right-hand side, and the rest of the moon is dark. All right, and I'm going to come up here once I've colored it in. I'm going to make that line just a little bit thicker so I can see it better. And then I'm going to grab my text box tool, and I'm going to create a text box here so that I can name the moon phase, and that is my waxing crescent. All right, so you're going to do that for each moon phase. Now, you've got that video lesson, you've got the notes on Classroom to help you color these in and to help you name them. So I'm not going to do all of them on this directions video, but you do have to fill all of them in, and you do need to name each one. All right, and once I'm done, I'm going to hit that save and close button that's in the top right-hand corner, and my answers are going to pop up on my diagram inside of that Google Doc. And that's all I've got to do. I've got to make sure I fill in all the diagrams. This one right here needs to be completely filled in. And this one right here needs to be completely filled in, and you need to label each moon phase with the correct name. And you've got those video lessons and you've got all those notes on Google Classroom that you can use to help you complete this.